Hey everyone, it's Sean. It's here with another Animal Facts video. I'm up on the sales floor today because of my special guest, Pac-man. Pac-man is a yellow pufferfish from Hawaii. Now as you can see, he is huge. He's like the size of my head. So definitely not an animal I can bring down to the classroom and do like my normal videos. Now, Pac-man here is a pretty old fish. He is at least 15 years old. He's actually probably closer to 20 years old. Which goes to show that in captivity, if you feed an animal the right type of food, you give them the right type of environment, make sure you're checking your water quality and you have the right lights and everything, these animals can live an exceptionally long time. Now, he's part of a dog-faced pufferfish family, but he comes from Hawaii, and he gets the name pufferfish because he can actually blow his body up and make it much larger. So, the way he does this is by sucking in air. Or sorry, not sucking in air, he sucks in water. So as he sucks in water, it actually fills his body up and expands to 40% of his natural body size. The way he can do this is because he has no ribs and he has no pelvis. So when pufferfish get stressed or they feel like an enemy is near, they'll suck in a whole bunch of water and make themselves extra huge to appear more intimidating. Now another thing that can happen with these guys is they are known for being venomous. Some are more venomous than others. We've talked about this before, things like toads. How all toads are toxic, but it depends on the type of toad. These guys, pretty low toxicity, but pufferfish who tend to have spines and spikes on them tend to be very venomous. So we don't really worry about him too much, but we're not gonna mess with him and make him puff up. Making an animal do a defense mechanism actually stresses it out quite a bit. So we just kind of let him do his own thing. Now, as you probably saw a few seconds ago, he created a bunch of bubbles at the surface up here, and then he spat the water out. And that's because these guys hunt by taking in gulps of water and spraying the bedding of the ocean floor to bring up crustaceans, and then they eat them. In captivity, they learn that their food comes from up above when we drop it into their tank. So they do that same thing. They get a whole bunch of water and they spray the surface of it, waiting for food. So when one of us comes up and we sit in front of the tank for too long, he thinks he's gonna get fed. So then he starts spraying the water up top, hoping that we drop food down. So we do have to give him a specialized diet. As I mentioned that he likes to eat crustaceans, he also likes to eat some shelled animals. Pufferfish teeth constantly grow. And so if we didn't give him something to grind his teeth down on, his teeth would grow too long and he wouldn't be able to eat. So we actually put full clams in there with him. And he's got these big, thick teeth that he can come down and actually crunch the clam up, and that helps grind his teeth down, and then he eats the insides of the clam. Now, my friend Kennedy here is gonna show us how he eats. So we're gonna take a step back, and we're gonna show you what's going on. So Kennedy, can you tell us exactly what's happening here?
Yeah, so we're gonna get ready to feed him. So we're gonna feed him, these are his clams that he eats, so we feed him the whole clam. And then also a few pieces of krill. He also gets a large variety of other diets, but we're gonna show the clam because that way he can crunch it up with his teeth.
Cool. Let's see Mr. Pac-man here eat some clams.
He's waiting. Sometimes he'll go down, so he'll come down to eat the food. Once he notices it, sometimes he's a little goofy.
Now, is it true that you can train him?
Yes, he is very smart. So you can, part of him spitting the water out of the top is a way that you would begin to train him to come up to the top and eat the food, because he's learning to, come, and that's where the food is, gonna come from. So you could make him do other things like sitting at the top, so that way you can train him to, do like a medical check on him or get a good look at something that you're concerned about. So that's the really nice part about having an animal that can be trained, is that it gives you the chance to better observe them health-wise.
Awesome.
So yes, and I'm gonna drop this other clam, and sometimes you can hear him crunch them if you're close enough to the tank.
I hope you guys could hear that because I could hear it. But I know there's a lot of ambient noise in the store, so sometimes it's not so easy.
Yeah. So we gave him 3 clams today. Right now, we'll probably give him a few more pieces later this afternoon, just to kind of give him something to do. Because the clams also act as a way of enrichment, because he has to kind of work at getting the clams out of the shelf. So it gives him something to do in his tank that's different from his day-to-day activities.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you very much, Kennedy. And thank you, Mr. Pac-Man, for putting on a show. I hope you guys learned something cool about pufferfish. I know I did, because as you guys know, I'm more of a reptile guy. So it's always cool to come over here and learn about another type of animal, especially from our awesome saltwater experts. So if you're coming to the store, you can come see Mr. Pac-Man. He's huge. He's right at the back of the store. So come on and say hi.